Hey, Steve Minani here doing the junkyard crawl at Bernardston Auto Wrecking in Bernardston, Massachusetts with Queen Katie barking in the background. What else is new? But this is a 1969 Chrysler Newport. Now, you know, if you're a Mopar guy, or anybody for that matter, it has always been kind of curious that Dodge and Plymouth had small A bodies, mid-sized B bodies, and even pony cars, the E bodies. But Chrysler never had a Dodge Dart competitor or like a Dodge Coronet sized. Chrysler was always full size until you get to 1975 when they finally had the Cordoba, which was based on a mid-sized B body platform like a Charger or a Monaco or that sort of a thing. But again, back in the 60s, the Newport was a full-sized car and Chrysler didn't offer anything small, because Dodge and Plymouth had that covered. But again, 1969 was a big year, the first year for fuselage styling, and we'll get to that in a second. But I always wonder what's under the hood, because when you're talking full-size Chrysler in the 1960s, you're not talking small block, you're talking big block, potentially 444 barrel, or a 383 4-barrel, or a 383 2-barrel. It all is possible. And on this one here, okay, well, nothing. This would have had a big block for sure, again, single exhaust or dual, no head pipes to read from, but we can certainly see the torsion bar front suspension, those two bars, they're solid coming up from underneath the driver's seat where they're anchored, and at the forward end they link into the lower control arm and provide the springing effect of a coil spring without the weight and the space taking. This one does have power brakes. We can certainly see the booster and the dual circuit master, power steering. After all, it is a Chrysler. But here's the thing, Chrysler made a series of cars. We had the Newport Custom, the 300, and the New Yorker. Which one is this? Well, it's a Newport, not even a Newport Custom. We can tell that by looking at the VIN. Now, just as good as the VIN is this. Here's the trim tag, which on these is on the radiator wall. And we can see here CE43G9C. C is Chrysler. E is economy, which means the base Newport, not the Newport Custom. 43 is the 4-door hardtop body style. G, okay, 383 2-barrel. 9 is 1969 model year. C is Detroit assembly. And speaking of tags like this, my friend Dave Wise sells things like this. This is the MMC decoder book. And in fact, Dave Wise now has a new YouTube channel, the MMC YouTube channel, and Dave Wise decodes Mopars. Check it out, Dave Wise YouTube channel, all about Mopars, E-bodies, B-bodies, Hemis, AARs. If you want to learn about those, check out Dave Wise YouTube channel. But in the meantime, we can use this book here. It's a cool reference book. Dave gets into all the background, the certicards, key blanks, all this stuff. And Dave's been at this stuff for years and years, but he knows about different fonts and stuff. But here we have the decoding thing here, and let's see if we can do a little bit of research on this. For instance, H51. What's an H51? Let's take a peek. We have it here alphabetized, A, B, C, D, E, F, G's. Find the H's, D, F, G, H, next page. And I think I know the H51 is going to be single air conditioning with heater, H51. Try another one here. We have, R21, V1X, or D32, D32. What's a D32? Maybe CD. And these books are fun. Bring this to the junkyard. It's fun just sort of decoding stuff. D32. Oh, okay, it's a 293, oh, sorry, D32. Oh. Live television. Okay, D32, some years, that's going to be the automatic transmission. Sometimes the A998, which is a different tranny, but that means torque flight, D32. So there you have it. Yeah, 727 heavy duty. And the beauty of that 727 heavy duty torque flight in the Newport is that it's a beefy piece. You can put that behind a 440 and a Dart or something like that, the same tail shaft length. And you could have the automatic from this into a hot rod Mopar if you want. But again, these books here by MMC Detroit, and of course the new YouTube channel with Dave Wise, loads of Mopar information you're going to like. Okay, let's make our way through here, and we can see this one here. This one does have front disc brakes hiding behind that wheel, and again the power booster was seen inside the car. Here's part of that air conditioning system here, the H51. Katie, she never stops, you know, why can't you be like Mike Joy? See, Mike Joy, at least he has something to say when he talks to me. Katie, she just goes on and on. All right, now this is a 4-door hardtop. What that means, no window frames. Window comes up, and there's no center pillar. That's what the hardtop's all about. Sedans have a fixed door frame and a big, thick pillar right here. But check this out. The crazy part is that the rear door hinges to this stub pillar right here. technically that's a B pillar, although it doesn't go all the way to the roof. But this thing right here, now the only downside, the federal side impact restrictions and standards, this car can't pass, at least not as you get into the 1970s. So you get hit in the side here, and this thing's going to fold down, and whatever's coming this way is going to come through the car if it's a fast-moving object. With that said, what a nice car to drive with the windows down, nice airy effect, almost as good as convertible without the rain. Now here's the thing, 1968 and 9, Chryslers are similar but not the same. Here's 68, final year for the fluted body styles, beautiful looking car. But 69 brings us to fuselage styling. See the difference on these. The outboard, or if you will, fuselage puckered quarters and sides on 69 versus the incuse on 1968. Of course, very different windshields. In fact, the bones are the same underneath, but the 69 was the new fuselage style. And there's something cool right here. This catalog here takes you through the base cars, or the New Yorker, of course, the top of the line, and we get into the Newports, etc. But look at this, the road wheel. Now, if you're a Mopar person, you'll know full well that's the Kelsey Hayes recall wheel. And in magazine articles, they were seen on A bodies, B bodies, and C bodies, believe it or not. These wheels were optional. Now, what happened with these Kelsey Hayes wheels, there was some kind of an issue where the lug nuts would loosen and the wheel could maybe come off the car. So they said, hey, anybody who bought one of these, bring them back. They're coming back. We're going to give you some different wheels. But again, here is the more typical full wheel cover that you'd find on a Newport, as we see here, and a pretty basic car. Up on the top left here, this is the cheap one, by the way, the economy, the E code in the VIN. Your next car, sometimes the improvements are best measured in extra inches. The 69 Newport, 5 inches longer. The trunk is now large enough to hold 8 suitcases instead of 7. Front passenger area 3 inches wider. So again, from 68 to 69, the fuselage body style really came along and was used right into the 1970s on full-size Chryslers. And in fact, getting back to those Kelsey Hayes recall wheels, this is the Edmunds New Car Prices book right here. Edmunds still alive and very well. And we look in here, and on this page here, here it is, right here, wheels, cast center road wheels. Pricing unknown. So again, I think even at this point in time, those wheels were in the middle of their controversy, the recall. And again, there's companies now that reproduce the Kelsey Hayes wheels, but for the many, many years, you'd pay thousands of dollars. And to find a set of 5-inch bolt pattern or 4.5-inch bolt pattern type recall wheels would be a treat. And of course, they also made them for the A body with the 5 on 4-inch pattern. I've seen magazine road tests of like a 69 Cuda with those wheels on it in a magazine article. But again, they were pre-production prototypes. Getting back to the rear axle, this is kind of cool right here. This basically is 1965 Sure Grip differentials, give your new Dodge better traction 365 days a year. In other words, winter time or summertime. Lay rubber or get yourself out of a snowdrift. But here it is right here. Spring, summer, fall, winter. A Sure Grip differential adds the safety and performance of your new car on any road, etc. But again, this is a dealer little supplement to hand over to folks. Hey, why don't you get that Posi or that Sure Grip in Chrysler land? Kind of cool right there. And this is 1965, but again, Sure Grip differentials were available on pretty much all rear-wheel drive Mopars right to the bitter end. And of course, the rear axle on this one is, well, bits of it are here. Here's the end of that. Big 11-inch drum brake on the back here. And yeah, you know, 8 3/4. The only downside to these C-body axles is they're very wide. So the wheels, if you put this under a Dodge Dart, the tires are going to stick out about 1.5 inches, look kind of stupid. And the leaf spring perches on these axles are too wide to fit a B body, like a Roadrunner, or an A body Dodge Dart, etc. So you have to weld the perches. Kind of problematic. The center section, plug right in, no problem. Now the back of this, here's that massive extra size trunk capable of taking 8 suitcases in case 7's not enough. And I don't have a key, can't get this open, but as a 383 2-barrel car, single exhaust, no duals on this thing. The 383 4-barrel or 444 barrel would have dual exhaust. And this is kind of weird right here. You never know what you're going to find in a junkyard. Now these aren't Chrysler things, but if you lived through the 80s, you'll remember the Ford Escort. This wheel right here was seen on the Escort, very basic plastic center cap. Look at the rust on this thing. But on the left, what is this? Well, this is from a Mercury Lynx, I guess, with the Escort's Mercury cousin. And it's a plastic styled wheel. Look at this, it's urethane. And GM was doing this, and so was Chrysler, and of course, so was Ford. And you can see it's a urethane face that's bonded to the very same steel wheel. Same stuff. Look at this. You know, the 2 little slots right there. Same thing here. And again, but it's kind of weird to see what looks like an aluminum wheel that's actually made of plastic. The 1970s and 80s when simulation was good enough. Nowadays, of course, aluminum wheels are very common. Let's make our way up this side here. And again, that beautiful four-door hardtop body style, fully air, no problem here. And now this one here does have the automatic transmission. 69, I believe, was the last year for a 3-speed manual, but this is the Torque Flight automatic. We saw that in the D32. And on the pedal down there, power disc brakes. You paid a little extra for power disc brakes. Drums were still standard in 1969. But again, when you got the power disc brake option, you got a pedal that was unique as well with power disc brakes on it. So that's the story of the first year right here for the Fuselage body style, wherein the body was kind of like an airplane, fuselage, rounded, bigger, wider, 3 inches wider inside for more people and more comfort. Now, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Bags YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up, share this with your friends, and by all means, hit the bell so you know when tomorrow's video hits, which comes out tomorrow. See you then.